should be topic number 4 says, is he correct? Is he correct? This takes us to YouTube. Let me share this with you guys. I'm going to play it a couple of times because, of course, we won't jump in at the right point. So just bear that in mind.
I already know he's not right.
Crime oriented, and they're not being corrected. It's not because of our color. It's due to the lack of more character, like a belief in God in the black community. Like sometimes if I'm walking down the road and a white person grab their purse or Hispanic or whatever, I understand why they do it. Because it's known that black men and women, young black men and women, not all, but most, that they snatch purses. They deliberately go and do it. Even Jesse Jackson said that when he's walking down the road and he hear footsteps behind, when you look back and see that it's white people, he feel better. And so even black people know what we're talking about. It's not because we're black, it's because most blacks are so violent. They're crime oriented, and they're not being corrected. It's not because of our color. It's due to the lack of more character, like a belief in God in the black community. Like sometimes if I'm walking down the road and a white person grab their purse or Hispanic or whatever, I understand why they do it. Because it's known that black men and women, young black men and women, not all, but most, that they snatch purses. They deliberately go and do it. Even Jesse Jackson said that when he's walking down the road and he hear footsteps behind, when you look back and see that it's white people, he feel better. And so even black people know what we're talking about. It's not because we're black, it's because most blacks are so violent. They're crime oriented, and they're not being corrected. It's not because of our color. It's due to the lack of more character, like a belief in God in the black community. Like sometimes.
Okay. I'm like Black Steel and Oni on this one. Once I see Jessie Lee Peterson, I already know it's some wrong shit. And now, after last week's convo, I know that if I see Thomas Sowell, it's some wrong shit because I learned something about him last week's discussion. With that said, because I know Bakari might jump off soon. Let me start with Bakari. Bakari, is he correct?
Ain't nothing right about Jessie Lee Peterson. Him being black ain't even right. Even Jesse Jackson said if he hear footsteps behind him and look over his shoulder and see it's a white person, he feel better. Because most, not all, but most of them are violent. They just snatch your purse and they'll do this and they'll do that. No. And that's not me saying there ain't no violence, right? But to say it's most, it's not most. But you know, I think he said he said he gonna write a positive play about black people too. All you gotta do is listen to what he say. It's real positive. I'm gonna listen.
Yo, Bakari, thanks for coming through.
But Bakari done cursed us all out for the night, so he's good. He's good.
No, I didn't cuss nobody out. I'm just being. I didn't cuss. I'm still here. I decided not to even go nowhere. And by the way, right now I'm pooping Glen Island.
Oh, you what's Glen, Mississippi?
Yeah, that's the name of my town, Glen Island.
You in Glen Island right now?
No, but that's where I'm from, though.
Oh, okay. I thought you was in Mississippi. All right.
With that said, let me go to Oni next. Oni would say it.
Ooh.
Yeah, Jessie Lee Peterson. Whoa. But I mean, it is pretty funny to imagine this guy said he want to write a positive play. That'd be funny. He'd be like, Jessie Lee Peterson, come on. And I don't like this guy either. I ain't gonna hold you guys. I think he went on the FBA stuff too. The guy interviewing him, but no, he's not right. Now, as far as if you hear people behind you, real talk, I think young boys, like whatever race, right? A bunch of young boys in a group following behind you can be intimidating, you know? Because one thing that we have to realize is that, like, fighting a group of boys, you could do it, but if you don't do it successfully, well, one, first off, why are you fighting boys? But if you don't do it successfully, you could lose your life. You know what I mean? So I remember one time, because I remember, you know, hearing this whole stereotype of people being afraid of young black boys. But I tell you, one time I saw this group of white boys walking towards me, and some of them had bats, and I kind of was like, "What the fuck is going on?" And cross the street. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know, like, I don't know what, like, but like something about young boys, because the thing about young boys, you know, is that they could be more athletic than you. You know what I mean? Like, they could be that they're like muscles. They could be muscular. They could be more athletic than you, and they could be on some fuck shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, they could be. You don't know them because they aren't your kids. You know what I mean? So, like, whether they're black, whether they're white, if you don't know a bunch of like miniature athletes who are up to no good, yeah, you're gonna get in trouble. But like, as far as like, oh, they, you know, black folk need God or religion or some shit, and you know, obviously I wouldn't say that. And then I don't even know what else he's saying, really. I don't fully understand what he's talking about. I ain't gonna hold you. I kind of tuned out. I don't know what he's trying to say, but I was just laughing about the idea of him doing plays. But I ain't trying to go on a brother like that. But anyway, yeah, no, I mean, is he correct? No. Like, what? What? No, of course he's not.
Thank you for that, Oni. Afro Native World in the chat says, y'all talked about anti-black and propaganda. He, meaning Jessie Lee Peterson, is a living example of a black person that's ingested too much anti-black propaganda. With that said, let me hear from Razuli next. Razuli would say, by the way, Razuli, they're likening you to Jessie Lee Peterson, by the way. So I think you got yourself here. Go ahead.
Who? Man, I don't give a F. I don't give a F who's liking me to him. I don't care. But I would say that he's correct in the way that he was sent to create that reality in people's mind. Like, if you watch movies, like let's say the movie Juice, for example, the reason why when you see like what Oni said, the reason why sometimes when you see, let's focus on the black kids. Let's say it's 2 o'clock in the morning and you see a group of black kids coming towards you and you feel away. You feel away because they created this stereotypical thing through movies, through books, through music, and then you ingest that. So what he's doing right now is creating a reality right now to imprint that in people's mind. He's creating that reality. So this man right here is sent to create that reality in our minds. Whether we want to say it's that's he's stupid or he's trash or whatever, but this man, it's like, it's the same reason, yo, and all the music, all the rap music, most of the rap music, they're talking about this pickpocketing. Not all rap music, but a lot of the popular one, they do that. And a movie like Juice, a lot of you said Juice is a hot movie, which I like. What's that movie? One of the movie that I felt was very did more disservice than it informed was Menace to Society. I think Menace to Society was just overly like greedy, grimy, overly violent. And when you watch that type in the movies, if you're older, if you're a black person that just came from the Caribbean or from Africa at the age of 30 and you didn't grow up with these kids, you're gonna assume that some of that is some truth. So again, all of that ties back to creating the narrative of your image, because you know what people are not scared of? People are not scared of white men in suits, like the mobsters. They're not scared of a politician dressed in suits. They're not just of Eric. They're not scared of Eric Adam, who's probably who's a piece, whatever. They're not scared of that lady in Illinois, the city girl mayor. But then again, it's the fact that you could create this reality when Gas him up and 10 and I forgot what's the guy's name, the other guy's name. They were talking about that one wearing their show about what?
Jose.
Joe said they were talking about creating creating their reality and then putting it into you. So is Jessie Lee Peterson right? He's right in the way that he's creating that. He's right there. He's talking to this guy. He's putting that in mad people's mind. But is it true in reality? Nah. Most black people are not criminals. Most black people don't pick your pocket. If you look at the world, we all know who's the biggest pickpocketer in the world. So Jessie Lee Peterson is just like you just said, the lady said in the chat. He's an embodiment of that. Oh, black bro, that doesn't even make sense. But even if that's the truth, he's negating a lot of this thing that what create those pickpocketers? What create that thing in the young man's mind? He got to wear Jordan chains to feel like a man. Yes, the young man took that in and went and did the act, but who's conditioning him to think that? So at the end of the day, I'm not rocking with Jessie Lee or whatever, what, but I see what he's doing. He's like talking like he wants to criticize it, but he's actually putting it in people's mind. It's like what we talk about. There's no such thing as bad press. So I mean, Jessie Lee's gonna be Jessie Lee. I don't know where the hell he come from, but hey, it is what it is.
Appreciate that. Razuli, Afro Native World seems to agree. He says, true, the world's biggest thief has a sanitized image to Razuli's point about the white boy in the suit. Let's welcome in our boy, RBG, Real Black Gentleman. How are you this week?
I'm good. I'm straight. I just want to jump in, you know what I'm saying? This I found out about this dude, man. He's a baddie boy. I'm gonna leave it like that. I always knew something about this dude was funny, but once I heard some of his background story, yeah, he's batty, yo. If you can hear it in his voice, maybe that's what got it from me. But like, it's people like this that like these people like Jessie Lee. These aren't people who's vetted. You know what I'm saying? In the greater black communities, these are people who like what's his like resume? Like what's his like credentials, yo? I mean, people talk, but like who's putting the screen in front of them? You know what I'm saying? Like that'd be the type of thing. It's like when you know, there's the old saying, like leave him who was in error. You know what I'm saying? I guess you know what I'm saying. That's an old African proverb. You know what I'm saying? And my problem is that I hear more and more about this dude, you know what I'm saying, than not. I wonder if like my thing is like how does he in you know, we talk about like, you know, people, you know what I'm saying, who tend to be controversial, they'll be quick to, you know what I'm saying, be like free speech, but like you gotta absolutely think about what you're saying. We're not talking about like people who are arguing or nothing like that. This dude is like trying to craft like, you know what I'm saying, like dogma and like really like, you know, argue and defend that some stuff that really could be like broken down. Like it's people like these that need to be like, you know what I'm saying, like, you know what I'm saying, it's like, you know, if he's not saying anything, you know, positive for black people. He's really like a wrecking ball. He just happens to be wearing a suit and kind of talk a little off and slow about it. But yo, like, you know, that be the trick because he's not, you know, conventional. He's a little tallish about his reckless self-hatred towards black people, and you know, because you know his generalizations that he speaks of are like, who's putting him onto this? Who has been putting him onto this for the past 20 years? I mean, I know he's slow. I know he's like a whole tool of white folk. That's just what I know. And like anything that like could like actually like really like on like a hood level just roast him on like, you know what I'm saying, just like really just like, because a lot of his arguments need to just be crushed, and he needs, I mean, whether or not feels bad about that, that's on him. But the arguments that he is making, I mean, they're not that hard. I mean, if he wants to smoke, my thing is like, it shouldn't be that hard to just like, you know what I'm saying? You know how he's going, you know how people are going to be. Just, you know what I'm saying? Like, look, he's not anywhere in like representing what black people should be or anything like this. Like, my whole thing is like, people like this are like on in the first place, and they just need to be discredited in you know what I'm saying, amongst black people. That's my thing. It's like, this dude is not a contender for nothing. I mean, you understand why, like, you know what I'm saying? The idea that he's credible, you know what I'm saying? That's just, you know what I'm saying? The specter of these things, you know what I'm saying, need to be squashed. Like, he's no good for black people at all, like, at all. At least, you know what I'm saying, he comes across as like clean, but like, that's about it. But you know what I'm saying? This dude's a baddie boy. Like, I'm trying to say, he's no good. I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic.
Yeah, they call Jessie Lee. I think Jessie Lee background. I think he's a preacher, actually. I think he's a reverend or something like that. And he, as Afro Native World posted here, he has this thing called Bond, the Brotherhood Organization of a New Destiny, which is a nationally recognized 501c3 Christian nonprofit organization.
So he's a preacher. That's his things. Okay. Well, I mean, it's just a matter of just having stronger, you know what I'm saying, theological, you know what I'm saying, about shit, you know what I'm saying? Just, you know what I'm saying, crack him over the head and be like, son, like, you need to be quiet about what you're talking about, because you don't know what you're talking about. You're not of nothing, the most of anything, you know what I'm saying? I just want to say that.
I'm going to invite Jessie Lee Peterson to join Shoot the Breeze. Shoot the Breeze one of these nights.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
Do it.
Wait, wasn't he just shouting about his movie? I thought
Hey,
that was...
Do it. It won't be no difference than what's already been up here. Do it. You'll get more viewers.
Yeah. He has this thing, as Afro Native World in the chat posted. He believes in this rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. He basically thinks like the black man has been kind of whipped by the black woman, because he feels like his mother did him damage. As a black man, kind of impeded his progress. So that's Jessie Lee Peterson. They caught him on some live stream or something. He screen shared. I heard Oni say this before too. You should never screen share. So this guy screen shared, and someone noticed one of the tabs was to like a gay porn site or something like that. So that's where the gay thing is coming from too. Plus, he just acts like it, to be quite frank. You know. That was RBG. Thank you for that, RBG. Let me go to Black Steel. Black Steel, what are your thoughts?
All right, so it's so fascinating to me how white people have been able to sanitize their image so well. White people, the European has committed genocide on every populated landmass on Earth. They're pushing the Earth to literally the brink of extinction. Okay, not just genocide, but complete omnicide. Black, white, the majority of child predators, the majority of pedophiles, the majority of murders are committed by the European. But yet, this buck dancing shoe shine boy is afraid of a group of black boys behind him. So I think we really got to study how white people have cleaned up their image so well to where that they're not only feared, but they are desired. And it's so funny. He said, he talks about black people having a connection to God. And it's so funny how Christianity and Islam and all these Judeo-Abrahamic belief systems have been pushing so much violence, so much colonization, so much dehumanizing ideas, but yet they're seen as desirable. Oh, you have to have a better relationship with God. It never ceases to amaze me how white people can come someplace and murder millions of people, lie about these people's contribution to history, but yet we'll turn around and we'll have these divestors and these swirlers talk about how much better white men are. Oh, the white man does this, and the white man really shows he cares. What the fuck is going on? It's so crazy to me. So of course he's not right, and he knows he's not right. But first, well, or maybe he doesn't. Maybe he has completely swallowed the tripe he's pushing. But he has an audit, and black people don't support Jessie Lee Peterson. I'm pretty sure you ask the average black person in the street, they don't know. They have no idea who this person is. But I will say that he speaks to white people. White people have a need to have their racist views regurgitated by another black person. So it just in their way, it makes them feel better. Well, look, he's saying the same thing we are, and he looks like you, so we can't be wrong. You know, they need to have their victims believe in their own propaganda. So just, nothing he's saying, nothing he's ever said has been correct. But the fact that this man, he's pushed out there by certain, I'm pretty sure there's a white man funding him, or somebody in charge of some sort of media apparatus is giving him the capital and the studio and the camera in front of his face to say these things. But it's just amazing to me how white people have so skillfully been able to change the narrative. When, just the idea of a super predator. Who went to Africa and murdered the Herero people in Namibia? Who came to America and slaughtered the native people? Who went to the Caribbean islands and wiped out the Taino? That was not black people. That was not black men. That was white men. That was Spanish and British and German and Portuguese. But yet, when we turn around and we want to make black people the face of crime. Somebody said earlier, the white man in the suit isn't seen as a threat. When the white man in the suit is the one who is going to deny your grandma her insulin to live. He's going to buy your house and kick you out on the street and make you homeless. The white man in the suit is the one that you should be looking at. But yet we see this white man in the suit and we feel comfort somehow. It's almost like feeling as a sheep, you're comforted when you see the wolf, knowing the wolf is going to eat you. Oh, we feel so much. It's so skillful how they manipulated black people's mind and their psyche through various means. I think we really got to study. Jessie Lee Peterson can be dismissed just like we can dismiss Sowell, just like we can dismiss Larry Elder, we can dismiss Candace Owens, we can dismiss, because these people have no standing in the black community. But it's really what he's saying. I think it to some black people, it may resonate with them. And I think that we can have a conversation about crime in the black community, right? But we have to understand where crime comes from, how crime is created, and what we see as criminal. When you had, like, for example, what happened in Detroit, Michigan, where they poisoned the water in Flint, Michigan, how that water was poisoned. None of these people were brought on criminal charges, even though he killed plenty of people, even though children were born with life-altering defects. But were their actions weren't seen as criminal. But if I were to go and knock over an ATM machine, I would probably get 20, 30 years in prison. But you can kill people, you can give children, birth defects, but your actions aren't seen as criminal. You can destroy people's lives with a few clicks of a button or a few marks on a piece of paper. That's not criminal. But if I jump the turnstile, getting on the subway, that's criminal. They'll throw the book at me for that. We really just have to really question what we see as criminal, and why is it that we allow these crackers to really set the tone for what's criminal and what's not. What behavior is acceptable and what behavior is not. I'll leave it there. Thank you, Coco.
I appreciate that. I have one follow-up question at the end after I go through everyone. A quick follow-up inspired by Bakari's show last night where Oni was a guest on it. I'll bring it up in a few. Speaking of Oni, pro black perspective, what's it?
Oh, I already said something.
So I guess Buana, what's
Yeah.
great?
So what is funny is that a white woman will clutch her purse because a bunch of black people comes on a train because she feels like a purse, her valuables will be stolen. But a black person will get on a train. I wouldn't clutch his kidneys. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, yeah, because they drug you and take out your kidneys. They'll steal your kidneys, but you ain't concerned about your kidneys, but the white woman concerned about her purse. But needless to say, I think that what brothers like Black Steel, I think that sometimes we miss is that there are many black folks who thinks along the lines of Jessie Lee Peterson. Now, but Bakari said, yeah, it's a bunch of y'all niggas. Yeah, but the reality is, yeah, I think that there are many people who think along the lines of how this man feels and thinks. Maybe of people who came from his background, some people who of his age, they think that the young black people are predators and they are there to harm them or abuse them and mistreat them. They have swallowed the Kool-Aid just like the rest of the Western society has. Just like the Western society has. And we struggle with the Kool-Aid that we drink because there are some things that we personally have internalized about how we interact with one another as well. Even on a just on a civil level. Even also on a civil level, we still resort to name calling, lambasting one another, and yelling at one another as if we ain't grown adult people. So to some degree, we swallow the anti-blackness as well. The brother was talking about looking in the mirror, but there are some things that we ignore, our own internal poisons that we trying to work out of our system, our own internal poisons. You know, are black people dangerous? Absolutely. Are white folks dangerous? Absolutely, absolutely. But I think that the propaganda is not in our favor in terms of how the black world looks at us. And he is just coming. He is an extreme degree of how many black people think if they were to be honest. If they were to be honest, because we act it out all the time. We act it out all the time. You know, is he correct? And the statistics may not show it, but who was looking at that? We are living in an age where statistics and truth and facts are subjective. They're optional. You could pick and choose the facts that you want to believe in and not believe in. This is the time we live in now, even in the age of information. That's an unfortunate thing. People, you have droves of people who carry a narrative that is absolutely false in terms of their leadership in certain countries of the world. Absolutely ridiculous in some regards. But they hold to it because they have an emotional attachment towards it. They have drunk the Kool-Aid. They have drunk the proverbial Kool-Aid. And this is where we exist now. And we trying our best to fight against these kinds of ideas. Will we be successful? I don't know. I don't know, but even in a battle that seemed like it's insurmountable that we won't necessarily win, we have to still fight. We have to still fight on. Who else could do it? Who else could do it? So, in the face of us being heavily criticized on both sides, sometimes you have to proceed and you have to stay on script. You have to stay on script because ultimately the prize is for in terms of us is for the betterment our team black, as Brother Bakari like to say, is for the betterment of our team. So in the face of everything, we have to remain consistent and do what we need to do. Some of the black people will be vehemently against us. Some white folks absolutely against us, but we have to stay on message and on script. It's just what it is, man. Stay consistent to our message and our script. Most of the brothers and sisters, we see Gavi in a particular vein and light, follow that script and see it through to the end. You know what I mean? Stay on script. That's what I would advise the brothers to do. But I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there.
I think I got everyone in this first go, right? Um, what I want to do, and again, I was inspired by Bakari's broadcast last night where Oni was a guest on there. You guys make sure go check it out. Subscribe if you haven't
Hey,
already to Bakari's channel.
you can't check it out. You can't check it out. I'm sorry. I took it down.
Oh, you took it down?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
I took it down. No, that's okay. No. I took it down. I explained why on my video I did today. Now, I don't really drink, and I got drunk last night, and I listened to myself, and I was a little bit embarrassed about some of the things I said, and I also took some personal shots at some people that y'all wouldn't know at personal shots because y'all don't know them, about some people that I absolutely care about, and I took shit. I took it down.
Oh, okay, Bakari, my bad. Well, okay, so you guys can't hear it, but still subscribe to Bakari's channel. He does a lot of good things on that channel. Mining our black business is a really good thing. And in general, whenever he speaks, is good stuff. And I'm not just saying that. Bakari knows I catch all those shows at nighttime. Him, Forecast, Casidra, all that. But last night something was said and I thought was interesting. We often, this was only his words. He says we often don't ask the male and female perspective on a thing. Unfortunately, we don't have any women on the panel tonight. But I'll ask, I guess you could answer it hypothetically, if you will. How should black men and black women view these two guys in the video? I'll call one name to start it off, but then after that, anyone can respond. Buana, what say you?
I would view them as black men. Here's the thing. I view men based on their deeds. People, we as a community, we have professional talkers, very good professional speech makers, speech writers. We could give the best kind of speeches in the world, impassioned speeches where people become emotive based on the things that we say. But as when I look at when the rubber meets the road in terms of what men do on a daily basis in determining who these men actually are. Now we can't see this because it's a video. This is a problem with social media, But they may have opinions that I don't particularly agree with. You know what I mean? But I would like to see how these brothers are. Phil Scott is married to a Mexican woman. Some things, some feelers should go up automatically from that in terms of how he references black people on the whole or how he talks about them. An opinion should be drawn from that. This man, I don't know if he's ever been married before. And if he has, does he have children? What is his background? Who is he? Who did he collected money from? No one knows. They just know about the organization. He says he has born. Give me a born person, a testimonial from a person who's benefited from his program. I don't see these people. So I can't really draw a conclusion in terms of who these men are. And I know Phil Scott had a black wife who divorced him, and he is currently married to a Mexican woman. How is he the speaker for black issues? I don't know. But the same as Tariq Nasheed. Tariq Nasheed talks about FBA. He's a walking contradiction. His wife has a Jewish mom and a black. I don't know if it's a black father, if it's immigrant or whatever. Who are these people? Where do they? Go ahead, brother. What you saying?
Haitian.
Okay, see now it's a mess now because the father is a Haitian and the mother is a Jewish person, and he talks about tethers. So maybe the father didn't like to read Nasheed, so he feels it's his personal mission to lambaste people from other countries. You talking about FBA, but you have non-FBA children. It becomes ridiculous and a walking contradiction. I look at the people with what they do on a daily basis, and people will criticize me on that end too. They're gonna sort through my life and see what my deeds are, my actions are, and they're gonna judge me. They should judge me based on that, not what a person running on with from their mouth. You know what I mean? The mouth media, we get enough of that on a daily basis. People talk a lot of good game, But when it comes down to follow through, what are you doing tonight? As Brother Bakari said a long time ago, black business, I'd give them $100 to fix my machine for 1 hour. You know what I mean? Because I believe in that idea and things of that nature. I believe in these kinds of things. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. But how these brothers live their life is what's most important to me, and I don't see that behind a social media screen. So I really can't. I'm not in a position to make a judgment on who these people are and just based on what they saying. I can't do that. But I'll leave it there and let the other brothers go.
Thanks for that, Buana. Anyone else want to chime in here? How should black men view these two people as well as black women?
So
Scam.
I'll chime in really quickly. I'm not going to keep them. So how should black people view Jessie Lee Peterson? Is that the question?
Black men and black women, how should they view both these guys?
Well, I mean, Jessie Lee Peterson just regurgitates white people's nonsense. So I think we should view him as a traitor to his race. He's a sellout. He's an enemy to black people. That's how he should be viewed. I don't know too much about the other guy, but as far as what he says, it says you could tell a tree by the fruit that it bears. And Jessie Lee Peterson and I mean, the things he said, I mean, not just in this video, the things I've seen him say. What was the name of that one white girl, the little ugly white girl who was with the manosphere? I can't remember the chick name. But
Pearly.
Pearl, that little ugly pioneer looking bitch. Anyways, so he was on Pearly saying that black people were the real racists and that black people make up racism just to excuse. So he has a long track record of saying some really hateful and egregious things about black people. So he should be viewed as a clown. Like he has no standing within our community. Nobody's listening to Jessie Lee Peterson books. No one's asking him. Just like what I mentioned about Sowell. He's an economist. What economic theory has Sowell pushed? Only thing he says is people tune in to hear him say negative shit about black people. No one's asking him about his economic theories. No one's consulting him about what's going on in the economy today. He's just a coon. And he just regurgitates what black people say. And that's how all of us, black men, and I'm not speaking for the sisters, ain't no sisters, but I would say if there were sisters here, I would say I would hope they would view this man as an enemy to his people and someone who has no standing in our community. And he should be shunned in every way possible. And I think that we have to really come up with a way. And again, since he has no standing, he could let he talks what he talks. He shouldn't feel safe around black people is all I say. I'm gonna be honest with you. He should not feel safe or comfortable around black people. And based on his words, he said he feels nervous around he's a group of black boys around. Maybe he doesn't feel safe around black people. In that case, maybe he needs to stay where the fuck he's at and away from us. I'll leave it there. Thank you.
He probably doesn't feel comfortable around black women.
And
But go ahead.
so that was a contradiction in what he say. He got this organization that gonna help build black men. What age is he working with? Is he starting with young men, young black men, 15, 16, 17? You understand what I'm saying? You got this program where you're working with them, but you feel nervous when you're around them. So something ain't right there. I see Jessie Lee Peterson coon so much it's funny. I'm gonna be honest. I can't do nothing but laugh at him. That's how he does a lot of coon. Hot dog sweating that right there, the one y'all call Phil. I would tell anybody. Yeah, I got it was that one dude on YouTube used to call him that hot dog sweating that. But he's a scammer and a hustler. When Bawana mentioned his Mexican wife, and when other people mentioned his Mexican wife because he lied and said his wife was black, and then when somebody mentioned that she was Mexican, well, you can say what you want. She has done more in the black community than 90% of y'all black people talking about her. She cares about black people. But he got his start. I don't even like to say this dude's name, but I got to say it so y'all know who I'm talking about. maybe I can say his initials, TS. TS, hate black women. Tommy Sotomayor, right? You know when he called black women laughing hyenas or whatever, right? He actually got that from that dude Phil right there, Hot Dog Sweating that. That's how this dude got his start in social media. So he's a scammer, but that also shows the how naive and gullible that a lot of our people can be. Now, sometimes I don't think that's all our people that's sending them money and watching them. I also think that's those other folks doing that too. But he should be viewed as a scammer. And when they talk to him and when people mention them, I don't care what it is they're doing. Scammer. I was talking to my lady friend. She mentioned the other guy who had the FBA museum. Don't you ever mention his MNF name to me. No goddamn more, he a scammer. Well, I was just watching. I don't give a damn what you was watching. Don't turn that ish on no damn more. And I mean it. Or you can move on. I don't deal with scammers. He has some good information. No, it's not. Everything these people do is to set you up for the next damn scam. That's what it is. See, we'll listen. See, that's some good information. No, it's not. Because what came after that information? Man, we got to be, look, I'm from Glen Island, right? I'm from a little town, about 700-800 people. How in the hell these people from these cities don't understand that? I don't get it. Now, I'm from a small town with big city problems. I don't understand how these people can talk about they from the street, and they don't see that. I ain't got to say nothing negative about the FBA guy. I done already said he's a scammer. Everybody know that. And he's a liar. Everybody already know that. Hot Dog Sweaty Neck is too. But all you got to do, what do they say? Now, after they say one thing, or they show you some positive, allegedly, what comes after the positive things that they do? I need donations to help with the next such and such. So what they showed you, was it really positive, or was it part of the game that set you up? Man, we got to stop just looking at the surface. But those two right there, Coon, Capital Coon, Jessie Lee Peterson, at least he stayed true to who he was to make his money on YouTube. Just Hot Dog Sweaty Neck switched up who he was to get money. So now he getting money from both sides. He couldn't make as much money as Jessie Lee Peterson, I guess, just on that side. So he had to switch up, and now he got to play both sides. But one of them just a coon, the other one is a scamming coon. That's how I see it.
Appreciate that, Bakari. Anyone else want to respond to that? How should black men in general and black women in general? I know we should be hearing from a woman, but we don't have any black women around. So how should these how should we look at these two guys on the screen? Anyone else want to add?
Well, let me say this. This is something that we don't really process, generally, right? And that is that, for the most part, like I said, I'm trying to write this book, and I realize, I'll give a bit of context. One time I was this lecture, and this guy was like, politics, economics, and culture are connected. And so I kind of resolved to think, economics is fundamental, right? And what happens is this: you can look at people through, let's say, those three lenses, right? You could look at somebody economically, you could look at them politically, you could look at them culturally. Most people are going to look at people economically, though. And so, unfortunately, brothers and sisters are going to look at these examples from an economic perspective. And they're going to say, like, brothers are going to say, can this guy hire me? And women are going to say, is this man single? Now, he's not attractive, obviously, right? But a lot of people are going to, because that's the thing that we like, I'll say it this way. Sometimes I look at video game streamers, right? Video game streamers, or I started looking at them again for some reason. I don't remember why, but I did, right? And what happens with video game streamers is that they're just young people who are playing video games and talking to their, imaginary fans or whatever, right? They are making a lot of money doing it. A lot of times. Now, some people are not making as much money. Some people are not making any money, right? But some of these young folk are making money, the streamers, right? And because of that, you have the copycats. You have other people doing that, and that goes on to YouTube, that goes to whatever. So people are looking at Jessie Lee Peterson making money cooning, or this guy Phil making money cooning, and they're saying, okay, that's a way to make a living. Because remember, I said this in the beginning, a lot of folk are lazy. A lot of folk want to make money just playing video games. A lot of people do want to make money just talking political shit, and but they see the examples of those who are, Malcolm X said it. Anytime somebody's more successful than you, they're doing something you're not doing, right? People are looking at Jessie Lee Peterson. They're saying, what is he doing, right? And if he can't hire me, let me be his competition, and so you have those examples, and why it rolls up, why it's popular, I don't know, right? But that's what, like that's unfortunately how people are going to see him now. On a cultural level, obviously, this guy is a menace to society. Phil hides it better. This guy is just in your face, so on and so forth. But he understands too who his audience is. His audience is not Oni. You know what I'm saying? He don't care about me. His audience are the trumpets, the white male trumpets in particular, or the white women trumpets, the white trumpets. That's his audience. As far as he's concerned, like as long as you could do that, like just like that Candace Owens, as long as you can appeal to the white trumpets, because the thing about white trumpets, say what you will, those boys got money. I'll leave it at that.
One of the reasons why I love putting on and hosting Shoot the Breeze is because, again, like I said last week, I think it was, no one could know everything, right? No one person. So to me, I looked at Phil and the Adwise show. To me, it was like a Pan-African show. I never tuned in regularly about, I used to tune in from time to time. But Anthony McPhail out there in the chat put me on, as well as Bakari earlier when he spoke. He said Phil Scott began his YouTube career with a platform called The Adwise Show, in which he highlighted black female ratchet behavior, world-star foolishness. I had no idea. I'm not even lying to tell you that. I had no idea he started off like Tommy Sotomayor. I'm real shocked, and it goes to show how you really do need to kind of look into the backgrounds of these people. A holistic approach. I got turned off by Phil when he started doing the FBA stuff. That's something that Umar does too. Umar and them, because they're pandering and grifting, they pander to that FBA stuff too, but they try to kind of sit on the fence and pretend like they're not Tariq Nasheed level pandering, right? But it's very interesting how I sit here week to week and I learn something that I never knew. Another guy that Bakari put me on to was on some shit was Taharka Bey. I had no idea about that stuff he did with the NFAC, but this is why it's good to have these kind of discussions when, because a lot of our people probably don't know the backgrounds of this. One day Tommy Sotomayor might be on some Pan-African type shit if he sees a value in it. So it's very interesting to sit here sometimes. Anthony McPhail in the chat said Phil is a fraud. KW7 said Keith Newsom, who I don't know who that is, roasted Philip Scott years ago. Interesting, right? Trigger Happy says he has a non-black wife. Brother Bakari in the chat said Jason Black Truth started like Phil Scott. Didn't know that either. Now I know he is always kind of talking down to people. Look it up and all that stupid shit, but didn't know it. So this is why I'm happy to come here every week and learn something new. With that said, does anyone else want to respond to this question here? Is someone going to respond or no? I heard a mic open for a second.
That was
Okay.
my mic open. I was anticipating and nothing. Don't worry about it. I wasn't gonna respond to that. Don't worry about
Oh,
it. That's why.
okay. Okay. Um.
I
Well.
just I want to respond to that. I see that there should, if what we say is true, they are able to solicit not large numbers. Phil Smart, I think, got 1 million subscribers. So his subscriber base, for right or for wrong, he is getting a lot of airs. People want to listen to what he has to say. What is the draw and what is the attraction to the things that he says? Um, Jesse Lee Peterson, none of us are gonna cross that aisle in terms of who his audience is and who his market is. But for a man who calls him, he says, as Afro Native World says, the African Diaspora News Network, he is able to solicit many ears of the African diaspora around the world. How has he been able to do that? How can that be copied? If for the right and for the wrong, we all agree that Phil Scott has issues in terms of what his messaging is, and in terms of a lot of the things that he did, his personal life. But how was he able to solicit the audience he has solicited and get in their ear, get in the air? And I think that also a reasonable question to ask, or objective question to ask, because Phil Smart ain't smarter than none of the brothers on the panel. None of the brothers on the panel. So that would be my question in terms of in going forward. How is he able to do that? What kind of message he's delivering that is causing black people to want to hear the kind of message all over the planet? These are also interesting and important questions to ask ourselves. Are we Uncle Toms? The fact that, to which degree, the fact that we want to eat and swallow his content, despite the fact that we believe that he's a con artist and a scammer and all the names that we put on him, because he has a black audience. Even though he have a white audience too, I'm sure he does have a black audience. So what is causing these people to want to come to listen and hear what he has to say? That also is an important question that we could ask ourselves as well. So I'll leave it there.
I'm gonna say this real quick. I believe that I think people use this saying a broken clock is right twice a day. So I'm not Jesse Lee Peterson. Sometimes I listen to him. Sometimes he has something that you could use, black people can use. But the only thing is, if I see Jesse Lee Peterson getting his ass whooped, I'm not saving him. The other guy, Phil, even though the same him also. Sometimes when you watch his channel, like I think he has a collective channel where he has different people talking. And Buana, what you just said, Phil, for example, you might really be suckered into believing he's 100% down, because his channel, the new channel that he has like different people, and they all seem to be on the Pan African thing. So I don't know, but Jesse Lee, I don't think no matter what, even though I say he's a broken clock is right twice a day, I'm not. If his car is hanging over the Brooklyn Bridge, I'm not risking my life for him. I'm gonna see you next lifetime. But that doesn't mean that he never said stuff. He didn't say something that's right. Just like what's her name, Candace Owen. Candace Owen might be is far gone, but that doesn't mean sometimes she doesn't say something that's right. I guess that's the grift. They might speak a little truth in there, and then to reel you in, but she's not really. But I think Phil is. I don't know, Phil. Like if you watch his channel, he has like 10 different like he has a girl from Ethiopia or something like that. Then he has another lady, and if you pay attention to it, he might be able to sucker you in until what Koku said that he's with that division thing where he's always talking about FDA or whatever. But I mean, am I gonna risk my life for these two dudes? Definitely not for Jesse Lee Peterson. But I think you got to be careful with guys like Phil because he looks the part and he might act the part. from time to time. So that's all I have to say about that.
Appreciate it. That's the show for tonight. I know we only did 4 topics. I had technical difficulties. I had to restart the stream, all that old shit. But we had a good conversation, I think. I'm going to ask everyone to shout out something positive, something personal, as far as their shows or whatever, or what they're doing in the community. I'll start with Urzuli. You want to shout anything out this week?
And shout out to all the people who check black people for their bullshit.
All right. Real Black Gentleman, want to shout anything out this week?
None in particular. I just thank you for letting me speak. That's all.
Guys, it's my pleasure. Bakari, what you want to shout out this week?
Hey man, y'all can go check out. I did do a live today called "Looking in the Mirror," so y'all can check that out. Support black business, and everybody who want to call out black people for doing bullshit. Ask them what they're the solution, other than sitting around and being angry. But let me say this: you said something right quick. I'm finna go. When you said about Jason Black, look it up. And you know what? You see how black people love disrespect. You see how many people will be. Eventually, people gonna understand what I'm saying. See, I don't take disrespect, but you see how black people love disrespect. That's what your homie on the panel want to do. If he had him a YouTube channel, he'll be good. He'll have some people. He's very disrespectful toward black people. Probably weak as water, like Jason Black them, but he will have a lot of people in his chat. I'm just saying.
Yo, bro, you joined the number one. You was in the U.S. Army. You got shit to say to me, bro. You went to fuck for the men that you're crying about. What are you talking about?
Let him go. No, Coco, let him go.
Bro,
Coco, no, Coco. Let him go, Coco. I'm an old elephant. I got tough skin. Yep, I was in the U.S. Army. I sure was. Do you want to know why I was in the U.S. Army? Because it was somebody like you running their mouth to me. And one night I crept up in their house with a 12 gauge, and I almost did 20 years for breaking and entering with a pencil kill with loaded photo.
You should have.
But it wouldn't you though.
Shut up.
It wouldn't you.
All right,
I'm different. I'm just talking shit. Look, but I was honest about what I said about it. But I'm just talking shit about that right there. When I said that was a tasteless joke, so I do apologize, Azuli. Even though we gonna have our differences forever, but that was a tasteless joke, and I will apologize to you. So I do apologize for that. That was a tasteless joke, Azuli, and I don't mean that at all, none whatsoever. Yeah, so I do apologize about that.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Let me give my last challenge too. It's a challenge. Brother Bakari have a Black Business Challenge. I have a challenge for the brothers. Whatever extra clothes y'all have that y'all don't wear anymore, look in your closet. Go to y'all embassies and things like that, whatever. African embassy, Caribbean embassy. If they need anything, support the embassies. Whatever books y'all may have that y'all don't use anymore, whatever. Only, go to the whatever African embassy. I think they may take books to ship to their countries, respective countries. So go to the embassies, ask whatever African embassies or Caribbean embassies if they would want to have any donations for books or clothing, and give it to the embassies so they can ship it to their respective countries. That's the Black Business Challenge I have for this week. So if you're all interested in doing these things, just go to the embassies. If y'all can't go there, go to a Black organization where people who accept clothing or books and things like that. I'm sure schools do it all the time, and donate it to the schools that exist within y'all areas if y'all could. So that's my Black Business Challenge for this week for the brothers. So I'll leave it there.
Appreciate that. Black Seal, want to shout anything out this week?
Shout out to you, Koku, for playing referee tonight, man. Well done.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. But I'm not really here to referee grown men, man. And it's kind of wearing me down a little bit now. But Black Seal, continue.
Oh no, that was all I had to say. I enjoyed the discussion tonight, like I always do. Even though I might not agree with everyone, I respect your viewpoints and I'm willing to hear them out. But yeah, so that's all I really have to say. Shout out to other brothers on here. Anything positive? I mean, this is it's almost 2024. I mean, it can't get any worse than this, right? Right? I don't know. But anyway,
What's positive is Black Steel get his he ain't horse no more. His health seemed like it'll recover, and that's
yeah,
the positive thing.
I
You
feel
know what I mean?
better. I feel better. Next week is coming up on finals for the kids, so I gotta, I'm gonna be in the trenches with the youth of our future. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. So I'm sorry. Let me bring it. I'm trying to wrap it up. So there was we had a classroom discussion on the transatlantic slave trade. And it is so disturbing how much propaganda is being funneled to the young people of today. I had to rewrite that whole paper. It's so sad. And I really think, as Black people, anyone who's listening, if you're a parent, um, pay attention to what your children bring home from school. Pay attention to their lessons if you're listening to this, because it is so much garbage that is being taught to Black children that minimizes our struggle. So, on a positive, just make sure a parent be involved in your children's education. It's so much nonsense out here. I'll leave it there.
That's why you are in the classroom, brother. That's why you are in the classroom, and we happy that you are in the classroom. I I want you to well, let me know. I ain't trying to take over no mind show, but if you could expand on that next week, because I would like to know what you mean when you say there's BS going on
I'll
and
give you
what
a
the
quick example.
curriculum is.
So, I'll give you a quick example. So, um, in the worksheet, they were talking about the rate of death that was suffered by African people during the Ma'afa, right? So, and I could go and I have a copy in my suitcase. I'm gonna get it right now. But they were saying how the rate of death was like 15%. However, the rate of sailors during the same period was actually higher, as a way to minimize what was going on through our struggle. Like, yeah, a lot of Black people died, but and then the idea, well, it was the majority of Africans who were brought through the slave trade, only 5% came to the United States of America, as though that's some sort of a positive thing. Like what? It's always some sort of mitigating circumstance. That's kind of what I'm saying right there. That type of stuff triggers me.
Coco, you remember last week when I was telling you the devil is in the details? Go find out who write that book. Go find out who write that book.
Absolutely. Azuli dropped off, but Azuli, if you're still listening, you see in the chat, Bakari asks, how can he purchase your movie? I don't think the movie is for purchase. I think he did it with Buana and others, where he'll send you the link or something if he gets your email. So just Azuli, just respond to Bakari in the chat. That'll be good, man. We gotta stop the what seems to be quarreling and stuff too, man. It's like that doesn't build anything. That only really destroys. Pro Black Perspective. Only, you have anything to shout out this week?
Of course, Burkina Faso. I heard it was like one of the, or it might be Niger, one of the two, but um, I heard it was like the fastest growing economy. I think I might have put a prompt on the for Shoot the Breeze, where apparently they're trying to do like they say a new nation. It might just be a defense pack, but you never know. Like we might have a new nation on the way. So watch out, South Sudan. Beyond that, oh yeah, I'm thinking I don't know what to do for tomorrow, but I'm thinking y'all think I should do the GED? Kind of crazy, right? Or that's just kind of weird. But that's all I can think about. Burkina Faso, Niger, and how they're improving the economy, because that's what revolution's about. Really getting in control of the state and then putting some good policies in, you know? And not enough of us are talking about the good policies or getting control of the state. And that's why I don't even mess with the US anymore. You know? Anthony McPhail says it's said to be a confederation. Yeah, I'm hoping it'll come about, but you know, who knows, you know? But I mean, that's the thing though. It's like, you know, getting in charge of the state, the people on the top are the ones who decide whether something's gonna become a federation or not. And so, you know, you got to find yourself proximity to the top, or you know, find yourself somewhere where the top ain't that bad, you know. And the thing is, when you in the American, you know, you can't like you, the top is corrupt, and you're not going to the top neither, you know. But that's all I can say. Thanks for hosting us, bro.
No problem. Trigger RB262 said Burkina removed French as their main language, moving towards indigenous languages. I thought that was superb to see. Anthony McPhail in the chat says, great show, everybody. Check out 9 Obafemi's book, Every Day is a Sunday, a children's African-centered pamphlet.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh,
every day is a Sunday. Yeah.
Cool. He told me about it when I interviewed him. Anthony pointed out to me on Instagram, so I'm going to be ordering it soon. I'll try to get him on the show to talk about it too, as a matter of fact. So look out for that. I was supposed to go on this week, and something happened, and I didn't go on this week. So maybe this week I'll go on twice during the week. Other than that, I guess that's the show for tonight. So like I said, I might be on during the week. Speaking of topics on Discord, some topics I didn't put up for a reason, but of course I will go back and put them up. There's a topic on Rastafari. I figure that's a good, you know, topic to have around these people's Christmas celebration. So I'll bring it back that night. And a few others. I'm going to try to make that show around that time, that weekend, try to make it real powerful. So look out for that. Anyway, that's been the show tonight. Thanks to everyone who was here. Yeah.
I sent you something else on Twitter. When you get a chance, check it out.
Okay. All right. And you guys can send me stuff on Twitter and stuff too. No problem. That's the show tonight. We'll be back next week. I'll be here hosting you guys again. Until then, you guys be good. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Bitter Medicine Podcast with your host, Koku. If you like what you just heard, we hope you pass along our web address, bittermedicineblogs.com, to your friends and colleagues, and share our show to all your social media. Be sure to check out our archive section on our website for previous podcasts. This has been a KWAZ radio production. Join us next time for another session of the Bitter Medicine Podcast. Follow us on Facebook at Bitter Medicine Show, Twitter, Bitter Meds, Tumblr, Bitter Meds, Instagram, Bitter Medicine.